I think that introverts, we have a very special ability to tap into a type of confidence that not many other people have. It's the quiet confidence, it's the effortless one that you show through your energy and through your presence, where people can feel your warmth, they can feel your magnetism, and they can just feel the truth of who you are without you having to tell anybody about it. And introverts, we have this ability to do this because we naturally know how to tune inwards. We're already connected with our inner selves. So when we feel empowered and when we are secure in ourselves, we really get to exude this type of confidence that everybody else wants and we just naturally kind of have. So I'm going to talk to you about how to overcome your fear of being seen as it relates to your quiet confidence as an introvert, and how to start really stepping into higher visibility, whether that's in your day-to-day life, just letting your authentic self show through your daily interactions, your friends, your family, your work life, all the way up to even if you want to start becoming more visible on an online platform of some kind. So if you're new here, I'm Dr. Sarah Lee. I'm a content creator, course creator for all things connecting to your body for healing, transformation, and alignment. So let's get started on today's topic of the classic fear of being seen. And as I said, this is for the introverts who are ready to start stepping into higher levels of visibility and just want some tangible steps and advice on how to go about doing that. For me, what's always been really helpful is to make peace with my past and all of the past versions of myself that I used to have trouble seeing within myself. I think it's a great way to take back your power when you think, because if you think about it, people who are judging you from the outside, or if you have a perception of people who are judging you, criticizing you, or expecting things from you, like how is that relating to what you are expecting and seeing of yourself internally? What kind of image are you expecting yourself to live up to? And is it something that you want to keep upholding? What we are doing is we're trying to manage other people's perceptions of ourselves and line it up with the image that we have created for ourselves internally. But the shock to the system kind of comes when we lose control over what other people see of us, when the truth is we can't actually control what other people see, because what other people see and experience is completely their business, and we have no ability to manage or control that. So all we can do really is go within ourselves and see as much of ourselves as we can, so that there are little to no surprises, or even if somebody brings something to you and sees or points out something in you that you don't already know about yourself, at least you'll have the ability to stay open and to receive that as either feedback or something you can just, let go and not take on. So that's the benefit of doing your inner work. And the inner work that I suggest doing is shadow work and parts work. So both of these inner work modalities really help us to create self-compassion, to embody confidence from the inside out, because it allows us to connect with the parts of us that we're currently not accepting or have just difficulty finding love for, so that we can integrate all of these parts back into the whole of who we are. The parts that are currently sitting inside of our shadow right now are the parts of us that we feel we're rejecting, or the things that we reject about other people and don't want to allow to be seen. And so when you're in the process of being seen in your life, the stuff that's hidden in the closet is going to come out for review. And you can either choose to do this in private, in the comfort of your own internal space and temple, or you could do it, through your relationships, through interacting with people. Neither way is better than the other, but when you're in the process of doing inner work, you're going to be presented with many different opportunities to meet these different aspects of yourself so that they can be integrated into your identity and accepted and loved and cared for. The other thing to note is that it's okay to want to be seen. let's just talk about that, because wanting to be seen is an actual core emotional need. Whether you're introverted, extroverted, I don't care who you are, but everybody has a need emotionally to be seen. And it's not selfish, and you don't need to feel guilty about it, because it's something that we all have, and it's actually core to our emotional well-being. So when we can provide that to ourselves first, then what other people see in us just becomes a reflection, or it becomes an addition to what we already were in the process of uncovering about ourselves, and it comes as less of a threat to our sense of self and our sense of identity. So it's totally okay to want to be seen on a small scale as well as on a larger scale. We can honor all of those desires. They're not wrong, they're not selfish, they're not necessarily egoic unless you make them out to be. And you're allowed to pursue whatever your heart desires, because you deserve it. You deserve to experience your desires. That's my personal opinion. One other thing that introverts tend to do, and I've done this myself, when it comes to things that we do that prevent us from being seen more, hiding and keeping ourselves small, dimming our light, playing small, keeping to ourselves. These are all ways that we're literally contracting and withdrawing our light and keeping it to ourselves, rather than allowing ourselves to stay connected with the world and with other people, because we're here ultimately on this earth to share something. We have something that only we can share. Each of us has a mission, and when we keep to ourselves, not only do the people who are meant to receive our light not get to receive it, but it actually is detrimental to our own well-being. If we're talking just strictly on an energetic flow level, when we're in our truth, when we're in our power, embodying our authentic essence, that is when energy is flowing through all of our energetic pathways, our physical pathways, and that's what supports our highest well-being. When we are choosing to play small, to constrict, we create blockages and resistance on all of those planes, whether it's energetic, mental, emotional, and then even physical. So when we can start to draw our awareness to these different types of connections, all of the downstream effects that can happen when we keep ourselves small, we can see that so easily that it doesn't benefit anybody, especially not you. So don't keep yourself small at your own expense, because you're meant for so much more. And I want to make sure that you can tap into that. With that said, though, I also want to honor you, because hiding is a reflexive protective mechanism. It's very normal to want to hide when things feel scary or when things feel threatening or overwhelming. It's totally okay. This is a pattern that has served you in a past time in your life, and I'm guessing you're watching this because you're in a transition state where you're moving into wanting to step into something more, or this pattern of hiding might actually be blocking you from accessing different opportunities that will help you to be more seen in this world. So just honoring that, yes, hiding served a purpose in your life at one point in time, and now it's no longer serving you. So it is safe to let it go. Before you let it go, it can also be helpful to examine where this is coming from. What are you hiding from in the past? What are you hiding from now? Why does this part of you feel safe when you are not seen? What is being seen being associated with? And how can you make that feel safer for yourself? And then one other thing I want to speak on is how isolation, while it can have some real self-care benefits for introverts, it can also at the same time be a double-edged sword, because it can keep us from opportunities that are here to help us grow. Because you see, when we are keeping in our comfort zone all of the time, it's so easy to feel confident, relatively, it's a lot easier to feel confident in your comfort zone versus if you put yourself in situations that stretch you and that ask you to grow, right? I get it. As a hypersensitive empath myself, I know how important it is to have your own space and alone time to recharge and to just be in your own energy, and how important that is for your grounding and your sense of self. And I also want you to know that it's possible to develop the skills and the ability to protect your energy while you're in really busy environments, while you're out there sharing and speaking with other people, interacting with the world without you feeling drained, exhausted, overwhelmed. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a second. First, if you don't already know, there's an actual branch of your nervous system that is responsible for your ability to socialize. And this is important as introverts because we always think that this is just an inborn trait. And yes, there are some predispositions to wanting to keep to yourself more. However, in our actual bodies, we have a part of our nervous system that's called the ventral vagal complex that actually controls our ability to socially connect with other people. And when this part of our nervous system is shut down, it makes it actually feel unsafe for us to interact with other people. It's just literally not a priority. When we're in survival mode, we're not trying to make friends. We're actually trying to protect our own interests, and we're only focused on the things that help us to survive. And unfortunately, from an evolutionary standpoint and a physiological standpoint, socialization is kind of like a third priority, okay? As you grow in your journey in becoming seen and maybe stepping out of your introversion a little bit more, I want you to keep this point in mind because we live in a world that really favors extroversion in terms of career success and things like that. So while I'm not saying that you have to not be an introvert anymore to be successful in this world, what I am saying is that you can retain what is beautiful and precious about being an introvert, all of the depth and the intuition and the softness and the ability to connect with people like genuinely and deeply. You can hold on to all of that, and you can tap into the specific extrovert qualities that you want to borrow for certain things in your life that can benefit you. And when you reach over into that side of the spectrum, what can really help is to work on your nervous system capacity, your ability to like expand when you need to meet the demands of whatever you're being asked to do or how you're being asked to show up without fundamentally altering who you are, unless you want to. And I want to give you an example of how this works because this is how I discovered for myself on my own journey that I could do this. Growing up, I used to be a very shy and insecure, disempowered introvert. I kept to myself for most of my years, and although on the outside it looked like I had a lot of friends and different friend groups, there was always people around me, but internally I always felt like I was keeping them at arm's length. I wasn't able to like deeply connect with people just because of my past patterning and experiences with relation. It was really not safe for me to let people in. And so I carried this programming with me thinking that it was just what it was like to be an introvert and this was how it was always going to be. And then about a couple of years ago, when I started to actually understand the nervous system more and realize that there's an actual part of the nervous system that governs social interaction, I didn't set out with the intention of healing introversion. It just kind of happened that I actually found myself really deeply embodying a desire to connect with other people. Like really, I actually seek it out now, and I actually get energized from interaction. And even in really large groups, I have found when I do a really good job of managing and protecting my energy and holding my boundaries, that I can actually receive a lot of energy and inspiration from being in large group settings, busy group settings, and social settings that I used to really avoid like the plague. I share this with the understanding that not every introvert wants to be more extroverted. It's perfectly fine if you want to stay as an introvert. And I'm saying this because if you feel like introversion is debilitating you in any way, that you can actually draw from more extroverted traits so that you can thrive in your own life and not feel like you're missing out or like holding yourself back just because you're not comfortable interacting with other people or it's like hard to manage your energy. And as a side note, and because so many of us introverts are hypersensitive people and or empaths, we can really benefit from this knowledge that our nervous system helps us to access a deeper capacity and tolerance for social interaction. And as well, when we put ourselves in the experiences of healing our attachment wounds, holding our boundaries, and doing the inner work, doing shadow and parts work, as well as building healthy, safe relationships. This teaches our nervous system over time that it is in fact safe and supportive to be in relation with other people. And that's only gonna continue to, open ourselves up to the world around us, so we don't have to like hide and withdraw and kind of like shut ourselves out as much. So to support you on your journey of becoming more visible, I do encourage you to start smaller if you can. And wherever you are on that journey, just to take it step by step, so as not to overwhelm you, but to just really allow yourself opportunities for success over time. I like to stick by the mantra of low risk and low consequences. When I was in the beginning stages of building up my confidence and letting myself be seen, for me, strangers were the safest experience of showing up, because people didn't know who I was and I wouldn't probably see them again. So even if they had a judgment or something of me, then that's okay. Like, it wouldn't really matter in the end, versus with friends and family, like they know you more, they see you more. And so that felt a little bit more vulnerable for me. But whatever feels right for you as a low risk, low consequence opportunity, I encourage you to step into that. So being seen honestly is such a vulnerable thing. And it's equally like beautiful, rewarding, and terrifying at the same time. So every little step that you take, I want you to celebrate yourself, because it is so brave of you to be putting yourself out there when you don't really have to be doing that at all. And so I am celebrating on your behalf of all of the things that you have done up until this point in your visibility journey, and also supporting you as you take steps to become more visible into the future. Okay, my loves, so that's all I have for you today. Remember that your introversion is a gift to this world. It is your superpower. It is your bridge to accessing the quiet, warm, effortless, magnetic confidence that is inherent to you. And I hope that you have learned something about how to connect and overcome your fear of being seen, and taking small steps and celebrating along the way. So let me know what small steps you're going to be taking this week to become more visible, and I will see you in the next video.